Hello, everybody. I hope you're good, guys. I hope you're great. Okay, so what is going to happen right now is we are going to listen to Matthew Posa. I'm hoping that I'm going to see, guys. I will play it like this, just to avoid all the troubles and all these things, on YouTube and stuff like that. I don't think you will see, but I hope that you do, guys. All right, so let us just begin. I don't think you will see, guys. Let me just do this. Okay, we're gonna start now. He's going to be talking about his book, but obviously, he's going to also talk about some very interesting things, which I think, so sometimes some politicians that were in struggle. I don't know whether they decided to be quiet, or maybe they decided not to be active like others, like Matthew Posa. I think Matthew Posa, to be honest with you, if it was possible for him, I think he could have maybe, you know, be in in government somewhere, somehow, in one way or another, whether via minister, whether via MEC, not MEC actually, whether via mayorship or anything. Now, the way he speaks, it seems like there were a lot of issues, there were a lot of problems that they were actually facing, as the party or anything like that. So I'm going to play the video. This is a new newsroom interview, so you can go and watch it if you want to see the whole thing. I don't know where I'm going to end, but wherever I'm going to end, you can continue and go and watch it. Okay, let's go and let's take a listen. All right. I hope this thing you are going to hear, guys. Let me turn it like this, so that at least the microphone is this side, and then I can hold it. All right, let's go.
Africa's political figures, his latest memoir, Witness to Power, offers a compelling look into the inner workings of the ANC, its leadership, and his own journey from Premier of Mpumalanga to one of the party's top positions. This morning, we sit down with Dr. Posa for an in-depth conversation reflecting on his pivotal role in the shaping of the country's political landscape and the lessons drawn from his years in power. A very good morning to you. Thank you so much for making time for us.
Good morning, sir, for inviting me. I really appreciate it. Good morning to your listeners.
I think that the book is titled quite aptly, Witness to Power. And a thought that came to my mind is considering the role that you had played before the liberation, the role that was played within the diaspora, the role that was played then in South Africa, and then how some of your quote unquote perhaps maybe ordinary comrades who maybe have been leaders in the MK and so forth would later on become a president, as an example, and later on lose that power. What would you say you have witnessed throughout that particular period? And does that change of power, whether you gain the power or you lose the power, change an individual?
I would like to comment on that, but starting from your premises of your question. I had a very interesting life in underground struggles in the country. In ZAPO, UDF, the ANC, being a political activist, got banned, thrown into exile at the site of death, with the Flag Plus guys were about to kill me. I escaped by about 3 hours and ran away. But I went to East Germany to train as a soldier and intelligence officer. Came back to the front of our borders and became commander at the borders in Mozambique and prosecuted war the way I needed to do to confront apartheid. But while in the middle of that, I was really surprised that Oliver Tambo and the NEC called me back to Lusaka and said, "You shall go home to start a process of peace with Jacob Zuma and Pendleton Madonna and Gibson Njenje." And we returned home. It was a very dangerous thing. I felt like we were like guinea pigs because they could have been killed. But we said, for the sake of our people, we will return home to start a peaceful chapter. And we did that. It was not easy. And of course, you're talking about people who go into power and get out of power. Some people go into power and become very magnanimous and be honorable to the people. Others go into power, but it goes to their heads and get corrupt. So it affects us differently. I'll choose the former. That when you go into power, you must be a servant leader. Yes.
Yeah. What do you think happens then with that individual? Like an individual that you would have trusted, that you would have, because you also look at, for instance, when you speak about when you set up your first cabinet. This is now speaking about the premier's executive in Mpumalanga, the people that you had brought in, and later on you come and there are all of these allegations of corruptions in the parks.
Well, it's very embarrassing. You know, well, 94, it was very consultative because there was another government of national unity at that time, with
different to this one.
Yeah, we'll come to this later, but this one was with the National Party only. And it was deliberate. It was to forge white and black into a center, which and it didn't last long, but Hitler pulled out, well, for his own reason. But that time, we had to include some of the National Party members in our cabinets. And of course, have our own comrades in. In Mpumalanga in particular, I consulted the structures of the movement, COSATU, SACP, teachers' organization, to say, what is the team we put together? But you thought you had people of equal moral fiber. But it was not like to be like that. Why did I have to fire more than 2 MECs? Because they were involved in corruption and I felt betrayed. But I didn't have to have second thoughts about it. I fired them because I think that's how we should act against corruption. Yes.
You fired them, and then later on, what would happen is there's the so-called Mapisa Commission.
Yeah, the kangaroo court of Mapisa.
Yeah, Vali Musa describes it as a kangaroo court as well.
It's a kangaroo court.
But take us back to what happens. So you are the premier of Mpumalanga.
Yes.
There is this tension within the party that is playing out. There's these investigations that you've initiated as well. But then the party itself, from a national level, starts its own investigation against you through the Mapisa Commission, being led by Nosiviwe Mapisa Ngakule at the time.
It's an aberration. A man who fights corruption is then victimized by those who he had fired. If you look at the people in the center in the Mapisa Commission who testify, some of the MECs are fired. So you use criminals against a man who's serving his people well. But you know what happened? It came to naught. It came to naught. But the pain it caused to people was bad, and the wounds are still bleeding even today in Mpumalanga.
Would you say that Thabo Mbeki, the former president, was key to that?
He formed it.
Yeah.
He formed it. It was not an NEC structure. When it reported to the NEC, and I think I must talk about this for the first time, Kada Asmal was chairing the appeal. He called me one afternoon. I can never forget. You know, Kada had this big laughter. The Comrade Matthew. And even said, President Posa, this kangaroo court, that's where I got that word from. It's a real kangaroo court. He laughed and said, don't worry about the nonsense.
Yeah.
Why would you dismiss it like that? Because it was nonsense.
What was the intention?
The intention was to neutralize or perceived political opponents.
And then this would be former President Thabo Mbeki.
Yes, then it was followed by allegations of plot by Cyril Ramaphosa, Matthew Posa, and Tokyo Sohwale from Norway. How could you plot when you have never met for 2 years?
Yeah.
When do you plot? Plot means serious business. We're plotting to kill him and overthrow him. Joe, that's serious business.
Yeah, and I'll come back. We'll come back to that point around the plot. So in the book, page 116, you write that I lost my job as premier for resisting those implicated in corruption and criminality. And I looked at this and I asked myself, so if former President Thabo Mbeki was key in the establishment of the Mapisa Commission, would it mean that he would have been party to making sure that you lose your job as premier because of the corruption that you were investigating? Was it an attempt to protect the people?
Let me say it bluntly, yes. But what would have been the intention? These witnesses were fired for corruption. Now the witnesses against me, for what? There's not one iota of any wrongdoing I've done as a premier at the moment. There isn't. It's clear record. You can check it. Not 1 cent was stolen by myself. And I would challenge any politician to say that.
Yeah.
I challenge them.
Well, we're going to come back now to the issue around the plot that you speak about and how that plays out, and how, ironically, as you point out in the book, that later on in 2012, These three people who are accused of plotting against the former President Thabo Mbeki would then stand at the ANC's Mangaung conference contesting the position of a deputy president. Continue our conversation with the former ANC Treasury General Matthew Sposa and former ANC Treasury General, of course, Matthew Sposa, as we reflect on his book, Matthew Sposa, Witness to Power, a Political Memoir. So the point that we were raising just before we went to the ad break was the allegation that there was a plot against former President Thabo Mbeki. Tokyo Sexwale, yourself, as well as Cyril Ramaphosa, were quote-unquote implicated.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, I'm sitting at home in White River and I see Comrade Steve Tshwete. May his soul rest in peace and happy belated birthday. Yesterday was his birthday, and I'd like to respect him. He was one of my leaders. He announces from the blue that there's a plot to kill and overthrow the President Mbeki, and the plotters who are mentioned is myself, Comrade Tokyo, and Comrade Cyril Ramaphosa. I said to myself, what the hell is this? And Matata said he was the first journalist to call me. I said, Matata, I don't want to insult the intelligence of South Africa. It's nonsense. That was my reaction. President Mandela came out and said, this is rubbish. He dismissed it. Kosato, thanks to Kosato, dismissed it. And then but Kosato proceeded. Jegislewe invested for 12 months and found nothing. And Comrade Steve called me and said, Comrade Matthew, we found nothing. I'm so embarrassed. Can we go and have a press conference and talk about it? I said, when you announced it, you were alone at the press conference. Go back and have another press conference and announce that you are apologizing, which he did. And I respect him for that.
Yep. And to date, you say that from former President Thabo Mbeki's side, there's been no apology or an acknowledgement of what had taken place.
Not directly. I assume Steve Tshwete, when he spoke, he didn't speak on his own personal capacity. And I've reconciled myself with both of them. I hold no grudges, nothing. What's past is past. We move on. We're revolutionaries. We can't say when someone has made a blunder and hang him on that.
Yeah, because here's the point that I want to raise is in the book, of course, you write about the plot. Steve Tshwete makes this announcement during during a press briefing, I think was on
Thank
the
you for
SABC.
liking, man.
But many years later, in 2016, former President
Kitty.
Thabo Mbeki, in the numerous letters that he penned during that particular time, one of the aspects that he raises is this particular one, the allegation of the plot. He says that the minister made a serious mistake of confirming these names live on air during an evening broadcast. As soon as the interview was over, the minister telephoned me to inform me of what had happened and to apologize most profusely for his mistake. Is that your understanding as well of how Thabo Mbeki understood what was playing out at the time?
I don't accept that. Jegislewe was a commissioner of police in the country, where Comrade Mbeki was president. Why would he allow the investigation to go on if he thought Steve Tshwete made a mistake? Steve Tshwete is not alive to defend himself, in fairness to him. But I don't want to go back because I don't want to talk about him when he cannot respond. It's very un-African as far as I'm concerned. But why would the investigation continue under a president with the commissioner of police if he did not know about it? It's disingenuous.
So you don't accept this?
No, I don't.
He says, naturally, I reprimanded him for what he had done and asked that he should see me. And Kambule was then brought to me by people who believe the story and told SEPS, people who remain members of the current National Executive Committee of the ANC. So no conversation around this would have happened with you?
No, this is a joke. I'm hearing it for the first time.
Really?
Yeah, how could you allow your commissioner of police to investigate the matter for 1 year and then come later and say, oh, it was a mistake? You should have known it was a mistake from the beginning and stopped the investigation. We're not being told the truth yet.
We're not being told the truth.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
Then let's fast forward to we are now heading into I think it's the ANC's Polokwane conference. Heading into the ANC's Polokwane conference, you get a call from Zweli Mkhize. He says what to you?
Zweli Mkhize first said to me, the lobbies in the branch, I said, you must stand for SG. I said, listen, I'm enjoying my business. I don't want to be in SG. SG is so full-time. Well, he leaves me alone. Later he says, no, but okay, Gwede has agreed to stand for SG. Will you stand for treasurer? I will allow you to still continue to do my business. I said, yeah, I'll consider it. Then I agreed. Then, of course, I was a candidate for treasurer. We went to Polokwane, and I was elected. I won. But Polokwane as a conference was a terrible conference for the ANC. And I'm saying in my book, it is where we killed and buried the ANC. Ironically, you know what Polokwane means? Poloko. It's a funeral. That was the funeral of the ANC, incidentally. We killed it there. The features towards the build-up and after were horrible. And today, if you trace it strategically, we have MK. You can originate it even from there.
You can originate it all the way from 2007.
Yes. If you think analytically, the fight and the boxing would happen from there.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what you did after that. The wounds were too deep. Some guys were so angry they formed cope, like Swam Sholowa, who was later vomited by cope. You don't know what happened to those parties.
Yeah. Do you think in hindsight, upon your reflection, because you do say that the belief was that you are one of the only individuals who would speak out against former President Thabo Mbeki, because there was this thing about the whole aloofness of the former president, and that he was not taking the line from the ANC as well. Do you think because of that, you may have been co-opted into the Jacob Zuma slate because of that particular element? They knew that this person would be the perfect individual to have on our slate, because this is somebody who can stand up to former President Thabo Mbeki.
But why make him treasurer? Treasurer doesn't make you very political. You focus on money. I don't think that holds water at all.
Mhm.
They were looking for candidates, and I give them a credit for that. He was lobbying, and of course we lobbied beyond that. Even the NWC, we had to lobby who goes in NWC and work together. And I still respect him even today, and he respects me too.
Yeah.
So I don't believe little children's stories around what happened in Polokwane. Polokwane was brutal to the ANC and regrettable in my view.
Regrettably so, in your
Yeah.
view. One of the other things is looking at the former President Thabo Mbeki's recall, the motion in the ANC NEC. I want to go back to that because we speak about it is ANC NEC meeting. There's this 18-hour-long debate that is going on, and later on you pen down something, and you
pen down a motion.
You pen down the motion.
Him.
Yeah. And then you are kneeling next to former President Jacob Zuma.
Yes.
He was president at the time.
Yes.
Tell us about that conversation.
What happened? The NEC was going like an aeroplane through a turbulence. They were arguing that after Polokwane, that is after Comrade Thabo Mbeki lost, he became bitter. He's supposed to attend officials meetings. He boycotted all of them. He boycotted all NWC meetings. He boycotted all NEC meetings. You understand? He was like a lone ranger of a president, ruling the country on his own mandate. People said, but you can't do that. The party in whose name you're being a president. So they were angry. So it's not me. Then I was assessing the mood. So I said, let me write a resolution which deals with the ANC, asking him to step down. And he was about to go to New York. He said to Zuma, please decide on me before I leave. I don't want you to dismiss me when I'm overseas. That's what Zuma told us. And then I was sitting there, I said to myself, no, it's not fair on Mbeki. We need to take a decision. We can't be waffling like we were brainless. I said, no, let me write. I write it. I said, but when you do that, this man is a head of state. You must look at the implications. I dealt with that. I said, 2, he's got a cabinet, deal with that. 3, he's got an NEC, inform them. And there's a population. He's a prisoner of the nation. So my motion was very comprehensive. So I didn't tell him I was doing that. I kneeled there and said, do you still want him? He said, why? I said, I've got a motion to dismiss him. He said, well, go ahead and read it. He didn't know what he was asking for. Then I read it.
Okay, I'm going to read a passage out of the book, and then I'm going to play this clip. And I need your response to it. So this is what you write. He says, this is now former President Jacob Zuma answered. And no, the question was, here it is. Mr. President, do you still need the Thabo? And the response from the president at the time, no. He asked me why I was asking the question. I talked to him through my proposal for Mbeki's removal as president. I then asked him whether I should move the motion and to formulate as formulated, and Zuma told me to go ahead. Now, in an interview with Ziyanda Ngobo here on Newsroom Africa, I want you to listen to what former President Jacob Zuma says about this particular
No, I
moment.
know what he said.
And how he reads this moment.
I know
let's,
what he
let's,
said.
let's play the clip, and I want you to respond to that.
I know what he said.
Here is that interview with Ziyanda Ngobo, and listen to what former President Jacob Zuma had to say about this particular moment.
I actually wanted Mbeki to stay more. It were other comrades in the National Executive Committee who said he must go at a particular time because they were accusing him of the manner in which he was handling the organization. The leadership of the ANC, I was in the minority. I said, let us not do it. Let us find a way to talk to Mbeki, how to handle himself until the final stage. They said, no, no, no. I've never done so. Whoever has that impression, it is wrong. I actually defended him.
Is that a true reflection?
I want to be very polite to Comrade Zuma. He may have said those things to members of NEC outside the NEC. But in NEC on stage, when I asked him whether or not he still needs President Zuma and President Mbeki, he said, why? I said, a motion to remove him. He said, go ahead. And I went ahead. I wouldn't have dared in that NEC to read that motion in his presence. And he would have opposed me if he maintained that. Let's look for consistency. He didn't oppose me. He kept quiet.
So according to you, your version is the truth?
Because he did not oppose me as well. He didn't oppose me when I moved the motion. The only people who opposed me came from the floor, not from the table. And I don't want to mention their names, but their opposition was mainly that, listen, he's left for 6 months. Why remove him? Comrades were, as they say in African, so heartful and said, he must go. And then we then said, Zuma cannot follow him because it will look like Zuma was making his own nest. We prefer that Kgalema be the interim president.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was, I think, one of the quotes in Reverend Frank Chikani's book is Baleka Mbete said, Ngoku. I don't know if that is the truth. It must happen now. It must happen. Maybe I'm misquoting him.
No, you're not misquoting him. But it shows you the mood of the NEC.
Yeah.
They were tired. They just felt, they're being undermined.
Okay.
It's an organization. And like Zuma is putting it, actually he's putting it very correctly to say they were angry. I was not even angry. I was trying to mediate a situation which was boiling.
And then later on, though, then you also then get a call from former President Jacob Zuma. Now it is him who is on the firing line. He's about to be recalled by the ANC NEC. And there is a document that he shows you, legal papers, where his lawyers have instructed, he's instructed perhaps his lawyers, I don't know how this unfolded, but there's a document where he's going to be challenging, was it the motion of no confidence in him in Parliament, or was it the motion that has been brought by the NEC?
The NEC took a decision during the day that he must go. And then, of course, they didn't get a nod from him. So obviously the following day, they were going to move a motion to remove him. But he went to see these lawyers, and I won't mention their names. I don't want to honor them because they wrote bad court papers. They bring an application under Section 98 of the Constitution. That section is impeachment. You have to say, Aldrin did A, B, C wrong. But the following day, the motion was going to be under Section 200, which is 50 plus 1, which the ANC on its own could have brought and removed Zuma. He didn't need other political parties. So I told him, these lawyers don't know what they're doing. And I even said, could you call them, let's debate the legal issues. He said, no, Baba, let's leave it. So we left it that maybe the following day at 10, he will postpone the press conference, we have time to talk. You remember that it didn't take place at the press conference. And one journalist was blaming me for making her wait for too long. I said, no, because you waited at the wrong place. But then I said to him, but the matter we're discussing is not legal, it's political.
Yeah.
Your NEC members have given a ruling on you. And it's considered implications on you as a former president. You lose your salary, your pension, and all those things. Went through them, and it don't be good to your children as well. You need to find a way of saying, listen, I've served. He was given, it must be heard as well on his gripes. I said so. And when we were talking, we're going into the following day. And it's Valentine's Day, my brother. And I said, but Mr. President, it's 2 o'clock, it's Valentine's Day. We're busy talking politics. People are busy having their lovers. We should stop this discussion. I think, the best thing for you is to take leave of yourself and go with honor. The following day, At 10 o'clock, the press conference did not take place. I said, halala, this is very good. Then those lawyers did not call me. I said, this is good.
Yeah.
2 o'clock, he had a press conference. Then he ventilated the issues which made him unhappy. And I was very happy that he was able to say them. But I thought at the end he would resign. He didn't. But I was tired, so I slept. So 11 at night, one of my friends sent a message, oh, at least he listens to you. I said, what is it? So I saw on TV he resigned. I said, whew, hallelujah, I'm happy.
We continue the conversation with Dr. Matthew Sposa, the former Treasurer General of the ANC. So welcome back. You're still watching the AM report in conversation with ANC Treasurer General Dr. Matthew Sposa. We're focusing on his memoir, political memoir, Matthew Sposa, Witness to Power. I want to quickly now go to page 199. And this again perhaps maybe speaks to some of the inconsistencies. You are called on, it's Para Para, the independent panel has made its finding. The report is given to Parliament. Parliament is now going to have a debate around this. But in the book at page 200, actually, page 200, right at the top, you write that Ramaphosa was seriously considering stepping down. What do you mean? What happened?
No, what I mean there, because you want to know what I mean.
Yeah.
But Ramaphosa was put in a quandary. And everybody admitted. It looked like, oh, there were these dollars from the Met and this commission. But no one became legalistic about the report. And I phoned him that afternoon. And I said to him, Mr. President, what's going on? Who's advising you? He said, no, there was Judge Maybach. I said, I'd like to see his opinion. He sent it to me, right? I looked at it, I thought, this is water without sugar. But during the week, my law firm, Posa Lawyers, had worked out a position in response to the report of Justice Ngobo, which was very legalistic and very much to the point. There are 8 organizations which were investigating the case of Phala Phala. Then Judge Ngobo never spoke to any one of them. He never asked them a single question about what were their findings. Yet he comes to a finding without a big mountain of evidence. That's why the president, the NPA, doesn't want to prosecute him now. So we were right. I was right to say to the president, I sent him my written opinion. He said, how are you going to handle this? I said, I'm going to newsroom. Yeah, I'm going to talk. I didn't come here. It was virtual.
Oh, yes.
I said,
the interview room.
I said, I am going to give my view, step by step, my legal view to the nation, which I did without fear. And then that became a view which really swayed a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm right as a lawyer. How can you say, as a judge, I know there are these organizations investigating, but they were aware. We did not talk to them. What do you mean? Why did you not talk to them? What are you afraid of? That they will change your view?
Okay, I'm going to come back to that point about the powers of the panel. But again, you say that Ramaphosa seriously considered stepping down. Did he share that with you?
I got it right between the line.
You got it between the lines?
Yeah.
From where?
From him. I spoke to him.
What did he say?
No, he said, listen, this is tough. And I felt this man must be feeling defeated.
Yeah. But he didn't utter the words that I want to resign.
No, he didn't use the word to resign, but I could read between the lines. That's where it was going. That's why I felt, I need to come strong and support the president.
Yeah.
On the fact and on the law.
Because previously 702 had reported there was an interview that Clement Manyatela had with I think Franz Baleni as well as James Mahlatsi, if I'm not mistaken. And they had told him that the president was considering resigning, and that they tried to convince him not to do it. But the president is flat out denying that. He says that there was never a time where he was considering stepping down.
Yeah, but I'm not the president. Must ask him again.
Yeah.
I read between the lines that the president is his back against the wall. You don't want a man to say, listen, I'm falling. But you can feel when someone is falling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then I came very strong and said, I'm going to support the president on the law. Not because he was my classmate, but on the law. And you cannot dispute even what I'm saying now. And I'm vindicated by the NPA, which refused to prosecute him because you can't. You need the report of all the 8 organizations, which must find against him.
Yeah. So going to the powers of the panel, one of the points that you make is that you can't come to a finding of prima facie evidence if you, for instance, you didn't call or have conversations with the people that are making the allegations. You can't just do it on hearsay evidence. hearsay evidence. Do you think that looking at the terms of reference of the panel, that it was set up to fail?
It's not for me to judge what Parliament had in mind. But whatever mandate was given to them, I think the panel was unfortunate. And I have respect for Judge Mob. I've known him for many years. They were flippant. I said in my report, it's Konkelwerk. They didn't go deeper into the juristic forensic issues.
Because they didn't have the powers to call for evidence, to call witnesses.
Now, why do you come to a conclusion then?
So that's why I'm asking.
And every commission has got the power to call evidence. Otherwise, they must say, because of the limitations we have, we can't come to a conclusion. And that is honorable. But don't come and tell me about the prima facie case when you have left evidence which could be contrary to our finding. Legalistically, forensically, it's a disaster. It's an abortion of justice.
It's an abortion of justice.
Seriously.
Okay, unfortunately, we're running out of time. There's a lot that we can discuss on this book, but I quickly want to ask you about what you see the future look like for the ANC. You speak about Mkhonto is a political party as well, but what do you see the future look like for the party as we head into the local government elections?
I think I want to make the statement to you and to your viewers. We're sitting where we call the GNU, Government of National Unity. You know what? That government of national unity is like a stew. It's like a stew. Some parties will not survive the local government elections because of that. Others will become out of things stronger. It depends how they play, the interplay there. Now, my view is a mix, a leaning towards the DA by the NC will lose NC a lot of votes. Already SSCP doesn't like that. Kosara doesn't like that. So it's a negative to the NC. The NC must steer this GNU in a way in which they come out strong. But it's not only a play at the level of government. Out there, the people have lost confidence in the ANC, in its leadership. The ANC must renew itself not with words, but with action. There must be proper law enforcement. There must be proper cleaning up of the party. There must be political education of a different type that creates a new moral behavior in public.
Okay. Last page, 221. I stand ready to make a contribution again, so to see the Rainbow Nation soar. What does this mean? Does it mean that Matthew Sposa is willing to stand for a leadership position? Does it mean that Matthew Sposa is considering starting a new movement, perhaps? A movement that you speak of, like what does this new movement look like outside of the ANC and the other political formations that are currently there?
I believe in our democracy. People died for this democracy, and I feel we dare not betray them. We must make it work. I feel that we should think beyond where we are standing and fight for democracy to survive. I have no issue in forming new parties and all. I would have done it a long time ago. I had money to do it, for the will to do it. But that's not my agenda. My agenda is to make sure our democracy works. And we must all, as South Africans, make sure the democracy works. We dare not betray Madiba and Susulu and other elders.
Okay. 10,500 copies that have been sold so far of this book.
Very interesting, very interesting, very interesting.
Thank you so much for making time for us.
Yeah, hi guys. When it comes to politics is drama, guys. Politics is all about drama. Sometimes you might think it's easy like that, but it's not easy when it comes to politics. When it comes to, I've always said, guys, that, when 1994 happened, negotiations and everything, MK, people going to exile, coming back, others, they are brought back, just like Matthew Posa, to come and negotiate or anything like that. One of the things that we all need to agree and all need to understand is the fact that if there is something like that, meaning if there is a door that is going to be open, sorry, just like 1994, right? Every person at that moment, every politician, I don't care who you are, okay? If there is a door that opens up, right? Just like 1994, every person will be thinking of themselves. That means thinking of, developing themselves, making their lives better, Okay, in as much as it was all about politics, it was all about saving the people, it was all about bringing peace together, it was all about working together, whatever. But at the end of the day, we all know that individual people, okay, they do have their own ambitions individually. So okay, some people, they came into politics, and when they got into politics, they actually they were actually they were actually because you can even tell, guys, when it comes to 1994, when ANC took place, okay, when ANC took over, then they ran the country. Obviously, in the process, you are growing yourself, developing yourself, putting money aside, creating some farms there and there, businesses there and there, and all of that. Because whether you like it or not, guys, please, guys, don't be in a place where you believe everything that you see, you believe everything that you hear. Okay, you must understand that people, they've got their own individual lives. That means in whatever position they get, or in whatever place they get, where they can be able to actually bring together some money, bring together some things for their lives, they will actually do it, because that's an opportunity for them to actually make their lives better. you know People, they might, guys, when a person comes to you and say, I am here for people, I'm here to serve people, I'm here to help people, yes, it might be possible and it might be true. Okay, but we must also understand that people, they have got their own individual lives. Okay, people have their own individual lives, and that means at some point, somewhere in their lives, they will be pausing and looking at themselves, and looking at what they have, and looking at what they have achieved. And if they see that, no man, I am short of 1 2 3, they will actually do that. That is why you find politicians in all these corruption deals, in all these things that they have done. They were trying to buy some coffee shop, others they were trying to do farms, others they were trying to buy a business, whatever. And you find out that later in life, it was actually corruption. And unfortunately, when it comes to politics, in most cases, it becomes very difficult for you to do things. That's why other people, they end up being caught. Okay, you can even tell with Matthew Posa, it was very difficult. It was very hard for them. You know, it was very hard for them, even when they were supposed to remove, some presidents and everything. There were negotiations. Others, they would say, no, we don't want him to go. Others, they will say, yeah, we want him to go. We don't want him anymore. We are tired. And then other people, they might say, no, let's give him a chance. Let's push, so that at least when the time comes, at least when the term is over, and then they will. But it doesn't happen like that. Okay, so it is very important as people to understand that it's not always that easy, it's not always that comfortably so. you know and then there is also where he was talking about him actually being in the public place. That means him being in public office. That means he wants to contribute. Okay, that's what I thought actually when I saw on the podcast. I think it was face no, it was the nation dress, whatever, national what the podcast. I was watching him there, and in my mind, what came into my mind was, I wish that Matthew Posa also, he can actually be in the public office somewhere. He can contribute at least. Because it seems like, and please, guys, listen to me. I'm not saying I know, but it seems like he is one of those guys that we can have. In terms of avoiding corruptions, avoiding all these things. I think we can benefit from him. I think he can do a lot for our country. I think he can contribute where his experience, it can actually become handy for our country. So I hope that maybe somewhere, somehow, he will be considered. When it comes to some propositions in in parliament, or even in the government structure. Maybe a minister nyana there, or a mayor nyana there and there. I don't think it will be a bad thing. But you could tell, guys, with the politics, it's not easy, guys. It's not easy, actually. you know when Zuma was actually, when they played that clip where Zuma was talking to Miss Ngobo, and then Zuma was saying, I didn't want Mbeki to actually go at the time, but I wanted him to finish his term, And then Matthew Posa was like, no, but he was supposed to oppose me. He was supposed to say, no, don't do that, whatever, whatever, whatever. For me, guys, to be honest with you, I think the way I look at Zuma, and if I can take my mind and put it into his presidency, even if I was not there, especially when he's talking to a person negotiating, I think he was not one of those guys like who would express, listen, who would express himself to that extent. I think you should have like read Uguti, nah, I don't think he likes this thing. Let me not continue and do this. Let me not do, like, I don't know. But because now when you listen to Matthew Posa and you listen to Zuma says, me, I didn't want Mpegi to leave. I wanted Mpegi to finish his term, and then we will take it from there. Matthew Posa says, yeah, I believe what he says, maybe when he was talking to other people, but when he was talking to me, he didn't oppose me. You see, that means when they were together, Zuma would not say to him, remove him or let's remove him. But Zuma will be on the fence maybe and be like, listen, my guy. I think that's how actually this thing happened. I'm not saying I know what was happening. I am speaking from what he actually said. And when you go on and you go to Ramaphosa, when he was talking about Ramaphosa, he says to us that he spoke to Ramaphosa, and then they asked him, you say in your book that Ramaphosa wanted to actually quit, or he wanted to actually stop being a president, not stop, but he wanted to actually resign. Okay, and then Matthew's Posa says, then the journalist asked him and said, listen, you have to be clear here. Okay, he didn't say it, but the way then he said, did he actually, Ramaphosa, say that I want to resign? And then Matthew Posa says, no, he didn't say in words. Okay, I was just reading his body language. I was reading and thinking and looking at him, the way he was responding, the way he was, because he also said things like, I'm tired, I'm what, all of this and all of that. So out of that, and then he concluded to say he thought maybe Ramaphosa wanted to resign, but Ramaphosa is refuting that. He's like, no, there is nothing like that. Nothing like that happened. Okay, I never wanted to resign or anything like that. Actually, Malema also, I think he spoke about it. I think he mentioned it on one of his press conferences to say that actually Ramaphosa wanted to resign. I guess now we know where he took it, you know. Because there were people who actually came, as the journalist said, who came and actually said that he actually said he wanted to resign. Okay, so I really don't know, guys. Those stories. I think the stories that I like about the interview is the first part of the interview where he was talking about exile, and then they were sent back to South Africa to negotiate whatever, and then also when it comes to that one of Zuma, I think he was out there. He was talking. He was saying all these things. But I still say, guys, that Matthew's post, I think he still has to contribute. I hope that somebody sees him, actually uses him, so that at least he can contribute. I think we can gain more in terms of our government. So I hope you enjoyed that, ladies and gentlemen. So I would say, guys, that you know for me, I really like it when somebody is speaking for himself, right? That means a person comes out and speak and say actually what we're supposed to be hearing. That means we're hearing it from the horse's mouth. This thing of always speculating, of always whatever, it's a problem, Just like what is happening right now with Ndlozi. a lot of people are saying, why Ndlozi is not speaking, why Ndlozi is not talking or anything like that, because what happens is if you are quiet, it creates all these things, people speculating, people thinking what is happening, and then people, they end up fighting, end up being emotional to each other, and others, they end up ending up beating each other because of you are trying to do whatever. So I believe that if you are a public figure, I think it's good for you to come out, even if they don't take your thing, even if they don't take what you say. You just come out to say whatever you have to say, just to refute everything, to refute all the rumors. Because if you are quiet, it becomes a problem. It becomes a problem. You may not respond, you may not come out immediately. You may maybe stop and maybe not come out in the first part, maybe, of whatever that is happening. And then you listen to people, you listen what they say, and then you make a decision to say, let me come out and speak. I am waiting, guys, to hear what is the EFF going to say when they address. I don't know if they will speak about it. I am still waiting, and I am waiting with my whole breath to hear what they are going to say about this thing of Ndlozi. Okay, I am just waiting for that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching, thank you for listening. Please, you can like the video, guys. You can subscribe to the channel if you are new. I appreciate you guys for subscribing. Let me see how many subscribers I have here. Let me see. I have got what? Let's see. Where is it now? I think it's 4,000 something. I'm not 100% sure. Let me check, guys. Let me check. Come on. I think it's 3,000 something. It's 4,000. Yeah? Is it 4 or 3? Okay, guys, I will check it. Before I close. Let me just do this. Let me just do this. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Let us see. I hope it shows. Okay, the subscriber, it's 3,994, guys. Please take me to 5,000 at least. Take me to 5,000, guys. I would appreciate that. I would love that, and I would love to see that, ladies and gentlemen. Please, people, can you do that for me? That would be appreciated, guys. 5,000. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. We can get there, right? Come on, people. Come on. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. You have a good day. Enjoy your day. Today is Friday, so enjoy your weekend. Please be responsible out there, guys. Please be responsible. Okay? Don't do things that you will regret. Okay? Just be responsible. Have a good day. Have a fantastic day. Love you. Take care of yourself and stay strong. Anyway, I am out. Yeah. Okay. Oh, guys, before I go, there is an opportunity here. Opportunity that you can use if you want to make money online as a person. Maybe you want to make extra money. It's very simple. It's not complicated. It's all about you registering, and after registering, you will be able to download what we call a dialer. Now, a dialer is this thing here. Let me show you on my phone. Is this thing? You see this thing? This is a dialer. Now, what happens is every time when I'm making calls, right, I use this thing, right? I use it to make calls. Whether I call from home, whether I call for whatever, I use it to make calls. Okay. When I do that, I am generating income. Now, the question will be, how are you going to get your airtime into this thing, or how are you going to call? There is airtime, whatever. Now, there is what we call subscriptions. They've got 2 subscriptions. Subscription number 1 is 150, but obviously there's going to be a charge which is 7 rand, so it's going to be 157. Then the second one is It's actually 300 and something. Okay, I forgot the exact number, 300 and something. So what you can do there is you can choose which subscription actually you want to use. Now, the 300 subscription is a good one because whatever benefits you are going to get, they are going to be more than the other 150. Okay. So, and also, if you choose the 150, it's still okay if you can afford all of that. What is happening is when you pay for that 150 subscription, right, it's going to give you minutes on the dialer or on the app that I've just shown you. Okay. And then you are going to have those minutes, I think, for a whole month, depending on when you have joined. And then you can make calls, you can do whatever. The more you make calls, the more you will make you will make extra money. Okay. And then there are other benefits. Benefits, for example, like grocery. Okay, grocery meaning when you go and actually buy groceries, you will have some coupons, you will have some code that you can use so that you can save. Okay, you've got other benefits like funeral covers. Okay, you've got other benefits like ambulance. Maybe you want there is for example, so somebody is sick, you can just call an ambulance and then it comes, and then there are discounts and everything. And also there are other benefits if you are traveling. Maybe you go to Cape Town, you go to other places, and then you will be able to get some discounts on those things. Now, the best thing you can do for yourself, okay, in order for you to actually understand better, to understand more, because I'm not going to give you all the information here. All you can do is on Tuesdays, guys, Tuesdays, okay, at 7 o'clock p.m. South African time. Okay, remember this thing also. I think this is actually important. This is a South African thing. Ne? It's, in other words, only South African are allowed for now. Okay, now you can attend on Tuesday at 7 o'clock just to listen to a presentation. Okay, on what exactly is happening, but I've already given you an idea. On Thursdays, they do have some presentations only. Also, the presentations are happening on Zoom. Okay, and then you can attend and listen to what they are talking about. On Thursday, they talk about the business part of the thing, right? But on Tuesday, they tell you about the benefits. Okay, and then after maybe you have attended, you understand, you like it. Okay, then you will come back and then you can sign up and then you can start working. Okay, simple as that. So what I would say to you guys is, firstly, go and attend the presentations. The presentations are very interesting and they are not boring. You just go there, you just come in through the Zoom, and then after that you listen. Then if you're interested, you can continue to sort of to register, and then after that you can start working. Simple as that, guys. It's not complicated. It's not a lot of things, a lot of work, and also obviously these type of things, you can also be able to make money by doing what, by inviting people. That means if you invite your friends, okay, invite your friends and then they join in, they buy subscription, whatever, you will be able to generate money also out of that. Okay, I hope that is the all information that I wanted to give you guys. Enjoy your day, and you have a great day, guys. Let me just go. Okay, sharp, sharp, Buffett. Nibe no sugolo. Sharp, sharp.